The NFL's franchise tag window opening today. Davante Adams, one of those guys likely to get that tag over the next couple of weeks before the March 8th deadline. If the Packers don't tag him, he would become a free agent. Other big names to track here as the tag window opens. You got J.C. Jackson, the cornerback with the New England Patriots. Mike Williams, wide receiver for the Chargers. Mike Gesicki, the tight end for the Miami Dolphins. Jesse Bates for the runner-up Cincinnati Bengals as well. All right, let's bring in our quarterbacks, Brady Quinn and Danny Kanell. Brady, the Packers, they have to tag Davante Adams, right? I mean, would it make sense for them not to?
No, it wouldn't make any sense whatsoever. I mean, how could you potentially let maybe the best wide receiver in the NFL go into free agency and not at least get something back in return? So at a minimum, they're going to tag him. I think it really comes down to at what point do they tag him? How does that decision on when to tag him coincide with Aaron Rodgers' decision, which we could get some sort of announcement as to what he's going to do at some point later on today. But more important than that, they're in a cap nightmare right now. So they really need to put him under the franchise tag and just buy time to negotiate a longer-term deal. He's a talented player. He's got a lot of good football left in him. So whether it's for Aaron Rodgers or Jordan Love, or even to try to get as many assets back as possible for him, if you were to trade him, you need to get him under a long-term deal. So that's really the goal of all of this, is trying to extend that window to negotiate, get him under that long-term contract, and make sure he's potentially locked down as a Packer, or at least a very much tradable asset for you in the event that he says, hey, I don't want to play with you anymore. I want to go where Aaron Rodgers wants to go, knowing that he is one of the key pieces that Aaron Rodgers wants on his team if he is indeed going to come back and play for the Packers or any other team for that matter.
Yeah, full disclosure, our producer Jack a week or two ago was like most likely candidates to be to have the franchise tag placed on them. And we didn't even hit on Davante Adams because it was just assumed that was an automatic. I mean, it just feels like that's what has to happen with the Packers. They cannot let him reach free agency, as Brady just said. And I totally agree on all your points here, too. I think, and we're going to talk about Aaron Rodgers in just a couple minutes, I think a lot of this depends on what Aaron Rodgers is going to do. And if Aaron Rodgers is leaving, that probably even makes it more sense to get the tag and try to trade him to try to get the maximum return. If you're not going to get the player, you want at least to get something in return for him, and he'd be an incredible trade asset. So I think all eyes are on Aaron Rodgers to see what happens as far as the timing of when the tag is placed on Davante Adams. But I think this is an automatic. I think you look around, and Aaron Rodgers, I think now it's kind of the clock is ticking. He said he wants to make this decision quick. He doesn't want this to, go on an entire offseason like last year's drama-filled offseason. So now it kind of moves to all eyes on Aaron Rodgers. And I think Davante Adams is one who's probably hoping that it happens sooner rather than later so he can know what his future looks like.
The last thing I'll just say, too, in order to create salary cap space, they've got to agree to a long-term deal so they can lessen that cap hit going into 2022. If they leave him under the franchise tag, that is a big number to absorb at the wide receiver position, again, given the cap constraints for this year. So that's another goal, too. It's not just about Aaron Rodgers. It's also about the cap situation that the Packers are in right now and trying to figure out a way of getting under that number, whether Aaron Rodgers is a part of it or not.
But it's mostly about Aaron Rodgers, right? And as we wait for him to decide what he wants to do, we just try to read into his social media posts, right? The latest one just says, gratitude is wine for the soul. Go on, get drunk. So he's feeling gratitude. Danny, what are we feeling by reading that?
Oh, man. I mean, it's like you're reading a Don Brown novel, trying to figure out these different clues that Aaron Rodgers is leaving behind. But remember, Brady and I were on talking about Aaron Rodgers after the honors, the NFL Honors Awards, and it felt different. It felt like he was kind of saying goodbye to Green Bay and putting that part of his career behind him. So I get it. Like, I think it does. This is pretty weird. It is like he's posting all these pictures with his teammates and he's thanking very specifically people that are part of the Packers organization. So I think it's like, I get it's where we are. We watch what players, if they're following their team, if they're deleting posts, but it's 2022. And I know Aaron Rodgers is an older player in the NFL, but he's still, a part of this social media world where you can kind of put out messages and you can use it as leverage and you can hint toward where you want to be. And I also think Aaron probably likes some of the conversation. He's very coy. I think he likes kind of toying with the media that has treated him really like garbage throughout this year with the COVID-19 stuff that went on. So I think he likes toying a little bit with people as well. Guys, even guys like us, like speculating about what he's going to do. But I do think that it does feel like Aaron Rodgers is saying goodbye to Green Bay.
I think that and the speech really from the NFL honors, it almost made it sound like he might even be retiring at this point. So it's hard to really read into what he's put out there. I think one of the things, though, that he may be doing is just getting out ahead of all of it and trying to get out ahead of the media. As Danny had mentioned, knowing how they've treated him this year and really probably throughout the course of his career, talking about his personal life and all those sorts of things. So, him hinting at things is going to be hard for anyone to read into. I'm not even going to try to do that. But I do know this. If you look at those posts, if you do try to see who is a part of it, Davante Adams and Randall Cobb, they're in a number of those posts. And those are two key components to who he wants to play with moving forward. Now, the first key component, the Packers already hired. And that's Tom Clements back as their quarterback coach, someone who was with him for a long portion of his career with the Green Bay Packers when he first got there initially, helped them to win a Super Bowl and have a ton of success early on. And now he's back, and I think that's in large part not only due to the fact that Tom Clements is a great coach, but it's because that's what Aaron Rodgers wants. And so it's why we opened up talking about Davante Adams and the franchise tag and how that relates here, but also Randall Cobb, who was one of those key pieces that the organization brought back because that's what Aaron Rodgers wanted. So it's not just about the posts, it's kind of about who's in them. And I think how this is sorting itself out, and really if Aaron Rodgers does come back, how they work out a deal for Davante Adams, but also Randall Cobb, who shows up a number of times and he's got a strong bond and friendship with and wants back on this team for another year, potentially, though, under a much lesser deal, again, for cap considerations.
Now that he's single, maybe we can find him a nice Green Bay girl to date. Maybe that'll keep him in the Green Bay area for a little bit longer.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.